So the urban myth when we talk about a limited liability company is that the directors have limited liability. And I probably speak to 3,000 or 4,000 directors in training sessions every year. And I would say a good 80% of those directors believe that they have limited liability. In fact, directors of limited companies have unlimited liabilities. The liabilities that are limited are those of the company, which is a legal person, and those of the shareholders. Directors have the powers that are listed in their articles of association, which in my experience most directors have never read. But by and large, articles are written very widely, and a phrase that they would often see is all the powers of the company are vested in the directors. That's a very dangerous phrase, because we have a concept in law called joint and several liability, which, if I can put that into English for you, is he who's got the biggest house loses the most. So if you make a decision that binds the company, and because you've got unlimited liability provided it's a legitimate decision, and that decision creates a liability and you've no assets, the other directors will pick up that liability. So managing that liability is important, and the way that we do that is we restrict your rights to do certain things and make certain critical decisions board decisions as opposed to individual decisions as a director. We call those powers reserved for the board, but most owner-managed businesses will have never heard of that. A director is anyone, by whatever name, who takes up that position and acts at that role. In other words, you can be a director without even knowing you're a director. A senior manager in a business can be a director with all those liabilities, just by way of how they act. Once you become a director, all the liabilities rest with you jointly and severally. You can manage those by behaving properly though. And the 2006 Companies Act has provided some very extensive guidelines on what directors have to do and how they have to behave. The trouble is most directors have never read it, and ignorance of the law is never an excuse.